Hello again everyone, welcome again to another pre-recorded lecture on Principles of Steel Design, and for this video we would be discussing about simple welded connections. So a welded connection in the field of structural engineering is the product of structural welding. And structural welding is a process whereby the parts to be connected or your steel to be connected are heated and fused together with a molten filler. So what you're actually seeing in this picture right here is the welding proper itself, and this one right here is to be your welded connection. So this is to be your molten filler. So your heated molten filler upon cooling would act continuously with your steel members. So that is structural welding in a nutshell. So we actually have these common types of welds. So the first one is what we would be calling fillet welds. The other one would be groove welds, and lastly, plug welds. So I probably know what you're thinking right now in fillet welds. So isn't it pronounced as fillet welds? So according to the dictionary, which is this one right here, when we are to speak about metalworking, fillet welds is, well, pronounced as fillet welds. So it would be up to you if you would be calling fillet welds or fillet welds. But for me, I would stick to this pronunciation right here, which is, well, fillet welds. So since we are already here, as per the definition by the dictionary, fillet weld is a weld with a triangular cross-section joining two surfaces that meet in an interior right angle. So as you can see here, if I would be resizing this one right here, so this is to be your connection right here. And as you can see, your connection formed a right angle right here. So that is according to the definition from the dictionary. So this is the most common type of weld, which is fillet welds. And in this video, we would be focusing on this. But let's have a little bit of an overview first about groove welds and plug welds. So your groove welds is a type of weld wherein you must need a gap where your welds will be deposited. So as you can see here, we have a gap or a groove itself. So you have a groove, and in that groove or in that gap right there is where you would be depositing your molten filler. And as for your plug weld, so this can sometimes be referred to as slotted welds. So slotted. So depending on the hole itself. So if you would be having a circular hole, that is what you would be calling a plug weld. And if the hole that you would be using is a short slot or a long slot, that is what you would be calling slotted welds. So the idea behind a plug weld or a slotted weld is that if you would be having your hole, and from that hole, it is where you would be filling up your welding. So think of it this way. So if you would be having your holes, instead of connecting them using bolts, you would now be welding them in those holes. So it would be as simple as that. This type of weld right here is only used if these ones right here are not adequate. So if your fillet weld is not adequate, you would be adding some welds onto it by introducing your plug welds. So plug welds is often used in combination with fillet welds or groove welds. It is rarely used as your main welding system itself. And this would be some of the basic process in welding. So the first one is what we would be calling shielded metal arc welding, or SMAW. And as for the others, this is to be submerged arc welding, gas metal welding, flux cord arc welding, and electro gas welding. And this would be their respective abbreviations. And in this video, we wouldn't be focusing on the definitions of each one of these. Rather, we would be focusing on number one, which is SMAW. So for your shielded arc metal welding, this is also called as stick welding. So aka stick welding. So this is the most common type of welding here in the Philippines, wherein you are to use your consumable metal rod. I mean, consumable electrode, or in what we would be calling it, our welding stick, or our welding rod. And in this process right here, we would be needing electricity. We would be needing our electrode. So our electrode is actually our welding rod. And we must have our holder, we must have our welding machine, our current, our ground holder, and etc. So if we are to go back to this slide right here, this is actually SMAW. This one right here is your electrode holder. This one right here is to be your disposable or your consumable welding rod or electrode. So there. So that is for SMAW. So in the design and analysis of fillet welds, by the way, we would be focusing on fillet welds. So in the design and analysis of fillet welds, we must differentiate first what transverse and longitudinal welds are. So when your welds, so if this is to be your weld and if it is parallel with your line of action or your force, it is what you would be calling longitudinal weld. So it would be as simple as that. So if once again, if your weld is parallel with your force, that is longitudinal. But if it is perpendicular with your line of action or your force, like this, if this is to be your weld and this is to be your force, this is to be called transverse fillet weld. So if it is perpendicular, and if it is the combination of both, if you would be having a weld that is perpendicular with your line of action or your force, and if you would be having a weld that is parallel to your force or the direction of your force, you would be calling it, well, as you know already, transverse and longitudinal weld. So it would be the combination of both. This would be the main formula that we would be needing in the design and the analysis of fillet welds. So for your longitudinal fillet weld, so for you to get its strength, it is basically the nominal stress times the effective area. So it would be easy to memorize. For your FNW, that is to be the nominal stress of the weld metal. And as for AWE, this is to be the effective area of the weld. So let's have an example later for you to understand this better. So if you would be having a combination of both longitudinal and transverse welds, for you to get its strength, you would be adding it or you would be applying a factor onto it. So whichever is larger in these two values right here would be the strength. So once again, the larger value. Okay, so if you would be looking at this bottom part right here, it is said here that the minimum length of a fillet weld, so minimum length of a fillet weld may not be less than 4 times the nominal size of the weld. So our length of the weld should be greater than and equal to 4 times the nominal size of your weld, so 4A. And the nominal size of your weld is actually this dimension right here. So if this is to be your weld, this one right here, this is to be the nominal size. So that is to be A. And take note also in this note right here or in this statement right here that the maximum size of a fillet weld along the edges of a material less than 1/4 inch or 6 mm thick is equal to the material thickness. So meaning that if your plate right here, so for example that this plate has a thickness of 6 mm, the minimum size of your welding is to be 6 mm or it would cover the whole of it. However, for a thicker material than 6 mm, it may not be larger than the material thickness less than 1/16 of an inch. So for example, once again, that if you would be having a certain member, so let's say that this is to be your connected members, and let's say that this is to be a member that is thicker than 6 mm, so thickness greater than 6 mm, your weld should be in this dimension right here. So for example that this is to be your weld, the maximum value of your A should be less than 1.6 mm the material thickness. So what this means is that this clearance right here should be 1.6 mm or 1/16 of an inch. So once again, if the thickness of your member is 6 mm, you can use the whole of this. So you can have a fillet weld that has a dimension of 6 mm, but if it is, if the thickness of your plate or the thickness of your member is greater than 6 mm, make sure that it would be having a clearance of 1.6 mm or 1/16 inch in that side right there. Okay, so going back to this formula right here, so this is to be our base formula, which is stress times area. So as you can see here, once again, FNW, and FNW is equal to the nominal stress of the weld metal. So how can we get the nominal stress of the weld metal? So according to this table right here, the nominal strength, FNBM or FNW, is equal to 60% of the nominal stress of your electrode. And this EXX right here is the label of your electrode. So EXX, this is sometimes E70, E80, let's say E60, and etc. And what does this indicate? So according to these lines right here, the filler metal electrodes for shielded arc welding are listed as E60XX, E70XX, etc. And in this classification, letter E represents that it is indeed an electrode. So electrode siya. And while the first set of digits, so 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, or 110, so these two digits right here indicates its minimum tensile strength of the weld in kips per square inch. So going back here, so for example that we would be having this electrode right here. This means that our FEXX is equal to 70 kips per square inch. And for our computation part, let's just convert this to megapascals. So convert to megapascal by multiplying our conversion factor of 6.895. Then once that you would be solving for that, multiply it by 60% for you to get our FNW or our FNBM. So we would be having an example problem later on for you to understand it better. So that is for FNW. So what about for AWE? So your AWE is to be the effective area of the weld. So for example that this is to be your A right here. Would you be multiplying it with the dimension of your length? So the answer to that is no, because the critical part of your welding isn't to be this part right here. Rather, the failure is to be in this part right here, which is the throat. And the throat is at an angle of 45 degrees with your surface. So 45 degrees. So once again, this is to be your failure plane. So for you to solve for this length right here, I would just be resizing it for you to see it better. As you can see here, this is to be a triangle right here. So this one right here. This triangle right here has a right angle here, and this is to be 45 degrees. And in order for you to solve this part right here, if this is to be your hypotenuse using the law of trigonometry, let's say that this is to be your throat. Your throat is now equal to A, or this dimension right here, A times cosine 45. So it would be as simple as that. And looking to the calculator to your left, cosine 45 is equal to 0.707. So this is identical to 0.707A. So there. So meaning, if this is to be 0.707A, and this one right here is the length of your weld, your area is now equal to 0.707A times LW. So that is for the formula for this one right here, or your AWE. So once again, this is to be the effective area of the weld, or the critical area of your weld. So it would be the throat times the length of the weld. So there. And take note also on this table right here if you are to design your fillet welds. So this table right here is your reference file for you to know the minimum size of your fillet welds. And the size of your fillet weld is to be the dimension A, or these dimensions right here. So these minimum sizes right here are dependent upon the thickness of the thinner material in your connection. So for example that you would be connecting these two materials right here, the thickness of the thinner material in both of these would be your basis in that table. So for example, that this plate right here has a thickness of, let's say, 12 mm, and this one right here on the bottom is, let's say, to be 10 mm. So with that, the thinner material here is to be this one right here, which is 10 mm. So going back here, so where is 10 mm here? It would fall on this category right here, which is 6 to 13 mm. And with that, since our material falls into this category right here, it means that the minimum size of our fillet weld would be 5 mm.